What is the hardest skill in VR? I don't want to alarm you, but I think I found it. I've said Rumble is a hard game, but this is something else. A move so hard it took me to my mental limits on a journey of faith, friendship, and despair in pursuit of a prophecy
A chosen one will
that
come.
could change VR forever. I don't want to be too bold, but I think this skill is VR's Rocket League moment. What got you into the game?
So I saw a video about it where people were flying, and I was like, well, this game's got the Rocket League effect, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait, were you in that video?
I haven't seen the video, no. But to prove to myself I wasn't overhyping it, I went back through all the skills I've accumulated in my VR career. I relived my childhood with motion control boxing. Mastered monkey movement despite screaming children in Gorilla Tag. I traded my luck for faith by beating a roguelike on the hardest difficulty. Come on! Claimed a world record from a worthy adversary. Thank you, Cameron, for pushing me. Sort of succeeded in a PvP shooter.
You want to see a flying dying man?
And I grinded back to Expert Plus difficulty after I abandoned Beat Saber for Rumble a year ago. Easy, first try. But all of that is second channel content compared to one move in Rumble simply known as Flick. There are 3 reasons why this move is so hard to learn. The first is that it's pointless. In Rumble, all structures are summoned with a pose, and modified with a pose. Every structure has a damage value, +1 when it's grounded, +1 when it's moving. Guys, we've been over this in the last video. Eventually you get to red belt and unlock hold, which is like telekinesis. You hold a structure, then apply a force so it breaks the hold and flies away. Simple. Then you get to black belt and unlock flick. Not so simple. You use both hands to control both the position and rotation of the object. Hey, no Discord sounds. I'm learning. The visual difference are these pokey bits mean it's flick, but the functional difference is, unlike hold, no matter how much force you apply to flick, it will never let go. Every fresh black belt has their first thought.
I like to have fun.
And then they go to use flick in a match. He's using flick.
Wait a minute.
I killed myself. To quote Banny,
Flick is not your friend. Flick is not your friend.
but what does Banny know anyway? Oh, number 3. You see, Rumble is very unique as a fighting game. It's projectile based. There is no hand-to-hand damage, and when you consider Flick has a very limited range, a melee move doesn't make as much sense, and you can use hold to jump, then straight a structure across the map. Or just yeet it out of your hands like only FJM can do. Take this example. You start your heavily telegraphed flail with a wall. Your opponent summons a wall to defend. Net 0 is the most likely scenario. In the rare best case, maybe your opponent screws up letting you get 4 damage. Worst case scenario, you get a wall straight to the face for 5 damage. The most damage you can do with a summoned structure. Now, I'm no probability expert. But the math doesn't check out. And that's when I'm being generous, because if I'm being honest, it looks even worse. Unless, as the wise Thormac said,
I didn't just say I love abusing white belts on camera, did I?
No. Or this one guy in the Discord, you bully lower belts who don't have a wall to protect themselves. But once a bully finds someone their own size, it doesn't work so well. Probably why this user removed themselves from the Discord. This isn't to say there weren't some early attempts to make Flick useful in the meta, like this Flick Trap, or SD's iconic tutorial.
Flick. I'll go over some actually useful points. So if someone was hiding behind that wall, I could flail this around and hit that wall, and they'll both break. The next thing is really awesome. Curveballs. Straight things around objects. So if someone was there, I could have hit them with the ball. I've ruined their cover. It's pretty useful. Look at this gap. Catch your disc with it, put it on the ground, and fling it through gaps where you normally can't fit a disc. Super useful.
SD was my first sensei, and I'm still trying to impress him. That man is a saint, so don't have any chronological snobbery, because back then, Flick was so pointless the devs considered removing it. But, the last minute, like they always tend to do, a miracle occurred. Remember in the last video how I showed you if a structure doesn't hit you at the right speed, it won't break and it'll just push you around? Well, Plimbo thought, what if they could push you, but up? Now Flight's gonna need its own video, but just know that it was a bug that became a feature. Flick and Flight are inherently tied together, but I want to focus mostly on the non-Flight uses.
What am I even supposed to do with Flick when it's not flight related?
Oh, you foolish boy. You foolish child. I'll show you.
I'm a child.
Flight was enough to save Flick, but it didn't stop the second reason why Flick is so hard to learn. Flick is hard to learn because it's dangerous. To you and not your opponent. You know how I said worst case scenarios that you take 5 damage? Well, I lied. It's 9 damage. 5 from your opponent and 4 from yourself. That's almost half your health in one mistake. Devastating. Flick is so sensitive that one little bump in the wrong spot will interrupt a move. That happened unintentionally when I was recording demo clips for this video. Shout out to Yeetmster, sub to him. It only gets worse in real matches. When you're flinging rocks around, you're gonna hit yourself. Whether you just do it from poor positioning, or because you get interrupted and the rubber band shoots right back into you. Yes, that's the problem with Flick.
It'll come back and get you.
But the biggest reason why Flick is dangerous is because VR is in first person. Hear me out. The Rumble hitbox is no different to any other fighting game, but in first person, when you flail things around, you can't see where you hit yourself. So it's just you, alone in the dark, over hours and hours of practice, creating a mental model of where your avatar is in 3D space. Can't be taught, can't be demonstrated, it can only be felt. Flick takes dedication, courage. Only the strongest of wills prevail. A true master will pick up You know what? Before we get to the inspiring part, you need to know the third reason why Flick is so hard to learn. And this is what I found hardest to overcome when I started this journey. Flick is so hard to learn because if you decide to pursue learning it, there'll be no one there to believe in you.
Yo, I just unlocked Flick. Someone explain this to me, please.
Sure, Flick's awesome. So all you
How
gotta
are you
do
meant
is
to use Flick?
No, wait. So if you just listen to
Hey,
me,
I just
so
got
you put your
Mountain. Is
hands
there
up
any
and-
way to get rid of a rock from Flick? It just kind of glues to my hand.
Yeah, that's the point. You don't want to let go of Flick unless you choose to ground
How
it.
do you
So if
release Flick?
No,
I can't
guys,
seem to
you just
figure
have
it
to
out.
How the
listen
fuck
to
does
me. You
Flick
don't
work? I
want
can't
that
seem
to
to
happen.
drop it.
rid of a hold on
Flick is
Flick?
weird.
Anyone
I
tell
can't
me what
figure
the
out how
point
to
of
use
Flick is?
Also, like,
confused about
does
how
anyone
to
know
use
who
this.
uses
Figure out the purpose of
Flick?
Flick yet.
Flick.
Point of Flick is so you can have control over the structure whilst you flail it around.
Oh, I see. Doesn't seem very practical, TBA.
Just listen to me for a second. I don't have all the answers, but we can figure this
Does
out together.
anybody know a good way to use Flick?
Good way to use Flick. Funny joke, LOL.
Please, just give it a chance.
What the hell is Flick for? I don't use it at all.
Yourself in the face. Found a great use for Flick.
Dennis
Yeah,
put it
I don't
in for a
understand
reason.
Flick.
I know there has to be a reason.
Tried to use Flick in aerial combat. Hit myself with a big stone
That's
for
always
5
a gamble.
damage.
Always the result.
That's just not
I've
true.
yet to use Flick for anything but hitting myself and sweeping the park.
Is there anyone who finds Flick fun like
I
me?
love hitting myself with Flick. I must love it because I do it almost every time.
Get out of my head!
I always
Flick
end up
is kind
hitting
of dangerous
myself.
to my
It
health.
hurts me
Lowell.
more often than it hurts the other fighter usually, Lowell.
Flick is straight up cursed. It's okay. No one gets the point of
Still
Flick.
not sure where I'm gonna
Flick is
apply
useless.
Flick in combat.
Hold is better.
Flick Bad.
Trust me, you need everything in this game
Kind of drawing a blank here.
except Flick.
Or what having a rubber band hold on something is useless.
overlap with
Flick is
hold,
almost
so it
useless.
actually meets their requirement of being worse.
I don't
in
think
most
I've
cases.
ever used Flick in a serious match.
Flick is so good. It's just a very unique playstyle and one of the hardest to do consistently. It's best used in aerial combat.
Balls!
I'll show you. I'll show you all. The world will know the glory of Flick. And VR will never be the same.
I've long said that one day a Chosen One will come. The Chosen One will turn the meta on its head by truly figuring out the power of Flick.
Who are you?
Perhaps the Chosen One has already arrived.
That name.
I see great potential in you.
Where have I seen that name? But what does Banny know anyway? This isn't to say there weren't some early attempts to make Flick useful in the meta. Jack and Huffwood, the two best players in Europe, maybe the world. As sparring partners, they'd been refined by each other's skill, but that also meant they had very similar and equal playstyles. We ran this simulation 1,000 times, and not once did we learn anything. As fate had it, they would be pitted against each other in the very first Rumble tournament. One of them would have to bring something different to the fight if they wanted to win. Huffwood, the scientist, only cared for pure functionality in combat.
Flick Bad.
He closed his mind to fringe ideas. But Jack?
Got any good theories on how to use Flick in actual combat yet?
He was curious, and his reward was a breakthrough.
OMG, I just got a great idea on how to use Flick. Huh? What? This will counter one of your habits.
Jack, we'll see who will be laughing then.
Somehow it'll work. Flick is the most OP move ever. People just don't know it yet.
The Prophet had seen the way, but just not the when or how. Huffwood's mind palace remained impenetrable. Ultimately, it would be up to their earthbending to prove one of them right.
5.
The match begins.
3. 2.
It wasn't hard to predict what would happen next.
Yeah, everything works.
The deadlock. We were still working out the kinks of the first tournament. The format was as follows. It's best of 3 rounds to a game and 12 games to a match. Just like in chess, where white always moves first, so too in Rumble is there an asymmetric element. As a P2P game, players take turns as hosts with no lag and client with the ping disadvantage, meaning whoever can overcome the odds first wins. Jack is the first to win a client round. But quickly, Jack fumbles the bag when he speed discs, pushing him back over a downed wall, causing him to skip out of the map.
I hate that mechanic. Skill issue.
Then it's Huffwood's turn.
Yes.
But Jack isn't interested in losing.
No, don't even try. No. Crisis averted.
20 minutes and 12 matches in, we're at the tiebreaker.
Is it already 6-6?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that was quick.
We've yet to see Flick be used once, so it begs the question.
So when are you using your Flick?
When you least expect it, that's when.
These days, we've refined the rules so that tiebreakers don't go on as long, but back then, it was first client, not just to win a round, but a full game. This means it's very easy for matches to go on indefinitely.
You win, you lose.
It's not until an hour in that Jack gets his next chance.
2 more chances.
But with a beautiful boulder 1-2, Huffwood gets both hits, knocking Jack off the map. He still has one chance to close this off at an hour. However, something's missing. Flick has yet to make an appearance, and so it was not destined to be. Was Jack bluffing?
Skill issue.
Exhaustion was setting in. You need to remember Rumble is a physically and mentally exhausting game. As the rounds piled up, so did the amount of unforced errors. Jack speed discs, knocking himself off the map. Or Strupper a wall when he's too close to the edge. It's been nearly 40 minutes since either of them has had a single client round. But finally, using an iconic chip damage style, Jack finds his window. But Huff isn't going to just roll over. With expert movement, Huffwood dodges Jack's signature ball onslaught. And all it takes is a single wall hold return to knock Jack out.
Yes!
That's how easy it is to lose when you're on client. If this is best of 3, Jack still has a chance. Both fighters are past the point of exhaustion. It's been almost 2 hours now. Then, out of nowhere, in the 3rd round of the 33rd game, at just the right time, like it always does, a miracle occurred.
I told you I was gonna win, and I told you I was good using Flick. Flick is OP!
Was it a freak accident or a meta-changing play? It was hard to tell. The only certain conclusion was that Flick won Jack the match. Jack used his hold on the fallen wall. Huffwhite tried to straighten then ground, but it was out of range. And instead of going straight for the kill, Jack reinforced himself by flicking the wall, and in the process, broke through Huffwhite's mental palace. But amazing as it was, I'd argue that that wasn't the tournament match that changed the path of Flick. It was this one. My very first tournament match against Jack.
Okay. Well, good luck, have fun. I will just
And no, it wasn't because he was winning so much he decided to use a flick trap on me. I saw right through it, and it only worked once. It was my very first competitive match, and I was decimated. I had no defense against Jack's chip damage style.
Feel bad.
Not being a short king, I'm at a disadvantage to take balls, or I should probably say boulders, to the face. I mean, I could duck, but when you duck, you're not in the right position to summon, and I'm just not that agile. In fact, in the name of transparency, you should probably see the biggest bag fumble in Rumble history. I was host, I got Jack to 1 health, whilst I still had over half of mine. Then for the next 47 seconds, Jack evaded everything I threw at him. Until this happened.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my.
Holy shit. 6 damage from the giant boulder, which knocked me backwards into a second giant boulder.
Oh my
Again,
God.
I had the host advantage.
That's a...
Not even close.
I gotta tell you, when that happens, your half full health bar starts to look half empty. I had lost the mental game. Or did I?
No one HP combats this time. 6-2 then.
I'm down and out, but they don't call me the comeback kid for nothing. I'll never give up.
I immediately lost.
How do you spam boulders so many times?
Nice
You
match.
lose.
Yeah, that boulder game, I need to, that's what I need to work on. Do you want to keep going
But
to 12?
Jack was kind enough to see the last matches through.
If you want to be the best, you got to be bested. So I'm ready to keep getting my ass handed to me.
That's a good mentality.
After that match, I worked on increasing my movement, reaction, and pace. But that wasn't going to be enough. I needed to find a gap in the meta.
He has no weakness.
He has no weakness.
What Jack didn't know was that by absolutely destroying me, he created a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Flick is the most OP move ever.
Because in my pursuit to find a way to beat him, I had one unique advantage over everyone else.
No.
And that's, you can't find out that moves are useless if you have no one to play with. Guess who's laughing now? Me. I'm laughing. In the dark days of Rumble, living in Australia, no one was online, so all I could do was practice and practice and practice. Yeah, I saw the coin slot and I thought it was cool. And yeah, I might have done a flick trap or two. But I wanted to develop a new move using flick. Who cares if it wasn't used by others in combat? I was having fun. Like Sisyphus, I would make progress in training every day. And then, I'd take my training into an actual match. But that's the thing about Sisyphus. One must imagine him happy.
Oh, I didn't get over it.
Because if you have enough fun and the right inspiration, you never know what it might lead to.
That would kill someone.
Damn it. I'm trying to think of ways to counter it. Help, train.
What? You did? What?
I flicked it into you. Flick. Everybody discounts it. When I discovered the alley-oop in practice, I had no idea it was actually combat effective. But because it was, it revealed to me two concepts. Number one, the principle of the second... Just give me 1 second here. Hit. At high level play, it can be very hard to hit your opponent. Reaction times are so good people can parry almost anything.
Oh my gosh.
I am very surprised about that one.
Or just cancel your structure with another structure, or worse, return it right back at you. So, what if you were to just assume that your first hit would be blocked or parried? Yogev, could you just hold that cube for me for a second? And instead, focus on the second hit. If you're lucky, the base cube will hit them, but really it's just a distraction to let you go all in on the wall.
That is the scariest move I've ever seen.
But it's also about positioning, which led to principle number 2, the dance. For combos in Rumble, positioning is vital. If you're too close, you'll fail to be Mario. If you're too far, then your flick will be out of reach. The principle of the dance uses the pushback of your hit on the cube to set you up in the exact position for the right dash jump to enter into the combo. And since you're catching the wall on the way down, you can continue your swing through of the flick pose so it goes under your feet and back over your head to hit. But before we go on, I gotta give you a disclaimer. A lot can go wrong. You can miss the flick and be completely punished.
Nice try.
A good player can still use anti-air combos against you. And as a bad player, you'll keep trying the same thing, expecting different results.
Okay, the standard alley-oop you've got a good read on.
Well, like I said before, a little tap in the wrong place, and that rubber band flicks right into you. Or most likely, you will still hit yourself.
Oh, I hit myself.
Oh no, goodbye.
I began losing more matches, but
come on.
I was having fun.
Oh, no, I can't get that one.
As you can clearly see from these clips. The most important thing was, I was learning how to use flick better.
I'm deteriorating.
The original alley-oop came from wanting something better than awkwardly trying to combo up a fallen wall. However, this has become my least used version of the move. There are so many variants that this unlocked. You can set up your own alley-oop. Instead of swinging the wall under you, you can do a 360 to keep the wall extended away from you. This makes it safer, but the disadvantage is you break line of sight. But the more I used flick, the more I got the sense, the feel. And I could flick it around my body while still facing forward. I had ultimate control. My destiny. I am gonna fulfill it. I will fulfill it. Okay, look, at this point, yeah, I was still losing a lot and people still hated flick. But, in theory, this move filled an important gap in the meta. In theory, you could rise above boulder spam,
Just getting bullied out here.
turning a long-range slugfest into close-quarters combat, landing with the advantage. Why? Because when landing on structures from above, you can destroy your opponent's defenses with your feet without taking damage, and then hit them with your wall.
I'm a-coming.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, no damage?
That's the secret to an
That's where
aggressive
you
aerial
go.
style.
If they try and dash under you, you can quickly 180 to still get them. It's also pretty hard to track players in the air. To summon anything in Rumble, you need to be looking straight forward. So if someone is looking up at you in the air, they can't summon anything. If you fall short of your target, you can ground the wall, which is the strongest defense you can have, and it's faster than summoning a wall. Just follow through to get damage. Or you can extend your range with a flowstone double jump. But as much as I'm selling this to you, damn, it was still just a theory. Sorry, too soon. That was too soon. I was still a sideshow, a freak of the game.
You fight really weird.
The meta was unchanged, and people would still rather use hold over flick. I needed more. The advantage of hold is it only connects to one hand. That means you can move your hands freely to instigate any other poses while still holding the structure. Flick, on the other hand, is on the other hand as well. It takes the average position of both hands, allowing you to control the rotation, which hold can't do. But that also means you can't easily instigate any new poses during flick, especially a dash. But then I thought, what if you start your momentum before you flick? But you can't flick a grounded object. But what if you use a cube launch on an existing cube to unground it and jump, still carrying the forward momentum, then flick the structure midair to smash down? And thus, the Rabaroo technique was born. Done perfectly, the Rabaroo technique will let you jump over a wall and punish your opponent. Which is exactly what happened in this clip. Now, some would argue, incorrectly, you could still do that with hold. But why would I argue for Flick? One word, control. Hold is great for a projectile aerial style, but that's not the close range melee aerial style I was working on. Since hold isn't that sticky, if you move too quickly, you'll break your hold. And believe it or not, but centrifugal force is a thing in this game, and for an effective Rabaroo, you better believe we're whipping that thing around. You need to use the unique property of Flick to rotate a wall over another wall quickly. Hey guys, it's Shoeless with another Rumble Move tier list. Today we're looking at the Rabaroo technique. To do it right, you gotta be completely open, it's highly situational, and the range is super limited. So I'm gonna put it in D tier. Hang on a minute. Did he just do a 360? Well that kinda looks fun, so... Wait, I don't remember filming that. I swore to myself I'd never do a tier list. What's happening to me? Although this move was kind of a dead end, it gave me an insight into the nature of Flick. As opposed to alley-oop fails, ouch, I damaged myself a lot less with Rabaroo. But why? In Rumble, a structure only breaks if it hits you at the right speed. Pause the video now and let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. Of course he gets hit, it's obvious. But we'll come back to this example. The alley-oop waits for the structure to fall. So if you hit it while you're rising, it's falling. You do the math, genius. Perfect. The Rabaroo has you match the rising speed of your launch structure. If you're going in the same direction as an object, it's not going to have enough speed to break. Bet you didn't think that was going to happen. Turns out, you also get the protection if you have the same rotational direction as the structure. Rowboat. You like rumbling. Yeah. Interesting tech by Ulvak there, but also expertly demonstrated by FJM with his Rocky Ribbon dance. And it also shows why you gotta be careful on landing. Keep up the good fight, Shoeless. Plus, spinning just feels really cool. So cool, I wanted to do it more. I wanted to do it on the ground.
Nice. Yes.
Rumble, like I said, is mostly a projectile game. This means most attacks go straight down the line. At high level play, when spawn pace is high, the whole match can look like a bunch of net zeros until someone makes a mistake. That's boring, predictable, but Flick is unique. It hits in an arc. What seemed like a weakness before was actually a skill issue, a lack of imagination. And who says Flick is useless? Because no other move can easily get behind structures. That was useless then, actually. Because when you flail just right, you completely change the game.
God, holy shit.
If you avoid net zeros, you can do more damage.
Oh, you dodged it.
Even if many of the attempts ended in a trade, I'd still take that unbeneficial financial transaction any day of the week, because I was having fun. Usually, it's a situational move to use on fallen structures, but I'd unground a wall just so I could do it. And let me remind you, flailing is faster than summoning. And even when you do trade, you usually have advantage on the follow-up damage, since your opponent can't summon in a knockback state.
I'll dash past it and then flick it like that.
That's fucking insane. Flick's awesome.
Don't listen to anyone, you just have to practice a lot.
Sure, you can hold bash a structure into someone. It's expected, predictable, boring. The opposite of Flick. However, you gotta know your limitations. Don't show them. So if you miss, ground straight away. Unless you don't feel like it, because you have control over your own mind. Hey, that's the magic Flick word. Control. Control over escape.
My jump didn't have it.
Control of your personal space.
Oh no.
Just like Jack, control over what structures you let your opponents use. By pulling them out of range.
That's right.
Or even into range, so they knock themselves off the map.
Shit.
I got bolder. I got risky. I wanted to spin. And even though I was turning my back on my opponent, giving them all the time in the world, somehow it worked.
Oh, nice. That was legitimately caught me off guard.
But just be careful no one steals the flick from you, because if someone flicks your flick, then you get flubbed. Then I thought, what if instead of waiting for a very situational flick throw, I set my own up? Rather than going over a structure for an alley-oop, what if I go under it? A reverse alley-oop. You know what, I'm gonna cut this section short. This was a really stupid and pointless move. Again, so risky to turn your back, and I was feeling Flick's limited range. Even though I was inventing stuff, I was still getting worse at the game. My plays were too risky. And my goals of fulfilling Jack's prophecy and changing the meta felt further away than ever. I was doing more damage, but it was just to myself.
You keep hitting yourself there.
You have such little health already. Oh, you're killing yourself.
Were you supposed to hurt yourself?
Shouldn't have done that with so little health.
Oh, it was you!
Yeah, it was too dangerous, this playstyle.
But what I discovered with the set of all my new moves was even more failure.
Got me in the end, though.
And the tough part was when I reverted back to traditional gameplay, I had more success. I began to doubt myself. And as I showed my moves to more people, the third reason of why Flick is so hard came back to haunt me. I started to hear a collection of words, an insult to my playstyle. Terms so cutting and offensive, I'm gonna give a trigger warning.
That was get out of here, pants.
I want to see your moves.
Yeah, I've been out of this game for a little bit, but not enough to die to something so
Are you just like a fucking What is that?
Get lost in the sometimes.
Fine, I'll show you the uncensored cut. Lest you guys make me make a Patreon for bonus content or some crap like that.
Fancy pants.
Stylish.
Flashy.
Wizard?
Get lost in the flare sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta not be afraid to die, to learn the new stuff, to push boundaries. Even if I hurt myself more than anybody else does, one day I won't.
You have to agree, me from the past has a point. I didn't want this fun to lead to flashy. I wanted functionality, not flashy failure, and that's exactly what all my new moves were leading to. But Rumble? It's a science, and in science, failure is success in progress. I just made that quote up. Credit me, I'm the source. Looking at the data, I had a common type of failure.
No!
When in the air, flicking things around, sometimes I would bump myself with the structure off the map.
Careful.
We covered breaking speed, but that was about stopping self-damage. Now I wanted to use the idea of bumping myself to create a movement option. That's not a new idea because it's the mechanic that made flight possible. But flight was always done with flick reinforced by hold to control it. Flick-only flight was thought to be too wild and stretchy to control. I said we're not talking about flight, but I didn't want to fly. I just wanted to see if I could use that bump to push me in the right direction instead of, you know, losing all my matches instantly. What the hell?
This way, this way.
I wanted a GTFO kind of move.
Sorry about that.
Yeet myself way up with a cube, then use that flick structure to bump myself towards the opponent. But I just couldn't consistently replicate the bump. Sometimes it worked.
Okay, that was it. That was it, but I don't know what the hell did I do different?
And most of the time I just look like an idiot.
This is the next level of cube. I'll probably die. No.
Oh, do you just use flick or?
Yeah, I used flick for this one.
And I could not figure it out.
No, it's too hard.
At the same time, the devs tweaked the stickiness of hold, leading to new tech that Ulvak showed me.
Oh yeah, I practiced that once before, but is it more effective now that they've changed hold a bit? What the? Oh, it holds on too. That's cool. It used to break. Wow.
And I could slide it with my hand still, directing.
Cool.
You'll have to forgive me, but with the discouragement of Flick,
that's such a new move.
I religiously hunted the Puppet Master, a hold-based move. and I got good at it.
That was practically a parallel park.
Here, how low my health is. I'm gonna get the shot.
But I could only fight my calling for so long. And despite my flick fails, a funny thing started to happen.
I'll show you.
Yeah, and then slide it.
Okay, do you shirtless? I missed your name when I
was
spawned in.
recognized by my use of flick. And I saw that the poor heathens of Rumble didn't even know the correct name of the sacred move.
Really interesting to see someone using twist at all, basically.
The last guy I fought literally just said, "Oh, I haven't found use for sling yet."
But could they be blamed?
And you can grab things in the air.
How can they use a move they don't believe in?
So that's what that useless move is used.
And how can they believe in a move they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? Oh, sorry, this is accidentally my Bible study notes, my bad. As I used flick in more matches.
Oh,
so too did my opponents.
oh, I love to see it. Yes, that was so good.
But I could give them the encouragement I never had.
God damn it.
That's a start.
And at the same time, use my experience of failure to exploit Flick's weaknesses.
Oh, I hit myself.
Punishing with anti-air combos. Or picking the right matchups.
Wall beats Pillar.
I didn't choose the right thing.
But Pillar beats Giant Boulder with the right timing.
It's like sad how much that happens. I had that perfectly planned out in my head.
And ever so slowly, the truth was becoming unveiled.
Do you see the utility? Monkey see, monkey do. Oh, nice, dude.
Oh, damn it.
I love you trying
I
it.
gotta learn how to use flick.
Until my opponents
That's the way to use
weren't
that.
failing anymore.
That was cool.
And if you miss, you gotta ground it straight away.
Makes me hit myself a lot less when I start doing that.
For the second time, I was beginning to
See,
believe.
flick. Flick is useful. So good.
Now, I would stand firm when persecuted for my faith.
Flick is not your friend.
Number 3.
The flick meta? I'm gonna be honest with you, Shoeless. I've never once used flick in a game.
I'm not surprised.
I don't see the practicality of it. I have to be like right in someone's face, and I don't really like that.
It's a whole school of thought.
You're gonna have to teach me this school of thought real quick.
You flick once, if you miss, you ground it.
It's like an all or nothing thing. I hit the flick or I don't hit the
Yeah.
flick. There's no second chances with this.
I mean, how many hours do you have in Rumble?
Almost 300 now.
Okay, once you get to 300, then you can
Fucking kidding me?
No,
that's
And then it takes about another 300 hours to master flicks.
Okay, so after the initial 300
I was one epiphany
hours,
away from unlocking the whole destiny of Flick. And it took a speeding fast rock to knock the lies out of my head. Wait, what? You know in the last video, and even in this video, when I said these numbers are obviously all made up and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Turns out that was true because I did know nothing. By pure luck, or should I say, fate. In this one clip, it clicked. Ironically, because I was too cautious with Flick, I was pulling the structure into me too slow, and it would hit as I was losing my upwards momentum. But when I accidentally got a rock stuck in a tree and jumped freeing it, I realized it doesn't matter how fast the structure hits you at all, as long as you're going in a similar direction, it will not break. This was the breakthrough I needed. After just a little bit too much disc spam, I went back to the high dive. And this time, I cracked it.
That's a new move.
I was too gentle before. Now, I had my GTFO move. But it begged the question, if you can bump yourself forward, can you bump yourself to change direction? Because that would mean instead of fully exposing yourself while setting up a Rabaroo, you could dash perpendicular to your opponent behind cover, launch it, then use that cube to bunny hop back towards your opponent.
You just put it under you while you jump high?
You make it sound so easy.
I'm just gonna go here.
But if you're safe moving in the same direction,
don't you run from me?
Then you don't even need the cube launch.
I'm practicing some new moves, so probably gonna hurt myself a lot. Oh no.
Okay.
Nice one.
The spiral staircase to heaven would sometimes catch my twinkle toes and ascend me so high I literally saw Jesus sitting at the right hand of the Father in heaven. But when it worked...
When was this discovered?
I just made it up yesterday.
It worked.
Yeah, that's innovative as fuck.
Ow. Didn't get out of the way fast enough.
Except for the times it didn't work.
What?
Ooh. The problem was, I wasn't going big enough.
Have you ever seen a cockroach get squished by a rock?
Bro, I haven't played in so long, please. Chill.
Where are you?
Oh my god, shoeless.
That's pretty good.
That's not to say I hit every time.
Yes. Yes.
But when Flick showed its ugly weaknesses again, somewhere along the line, I had learned to adapt.
Oh! Holy!
So now almost nothing could interrupt. Oh! Nothing could interrupt my Flick.
Oh, that did not redirect it towards you?
The power of Flick, my friend.
I could feel it. The control. I didn't need the second jump when I could just roll the structure around my body to give a corkscrew arc, which protects my wall on both takeoff and landing whilst bumping me forward fast. Something you could never do with a hole.
What was that pickoff for the wall?
Wait, how are you doing that? I can't really do the whole speed without moving.
Sorry, I'm so trained on my hold.
Exactly, that's what it's for.
But then why even bring a structure to my opponent when I could Uno reverse theirs?
At this point, watching this is like accepting my fate.
Alley-oops were feeling left behind. But you remember the Pauper Master, right? Why not add one little extra hole to any alley-oop to strike from ground and air at the same time? Overshoot from above?
Oh, it takes me all the way through that.
Hit them from below. And if they start to catch on...
I always do that. I'm like, how do I escape this? So I just jump.
And every so often, everything aligns.
Stop it. That... No.
Okay, look. We were going pretty quick there.
You ready for something dumb that I've been practicing?
The Puppet Master moves are like a whole journey of their own that I'm speedrunning. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm grateful for the explosive growth, but I do want you to know that you robbed me of the small channel experience where I grind away for years refining my voice. Your actions have consequences, and because you didn't listen, I shouldn't be making videos, you shouldn't be watching them. We should all be playing Rumble. Now I'm gonna need to make a second channel where I can hyper-focus on specific moves, but this time I will make lesser quality content to discourage subscribers.
That is weird, but it's funny. Yeah.
That's why it's called Shoe Lesson. All I want to do is play Rumble, so yes, I know I will regret this decision. Where were we? Oh yeah, the era hasn't ended yet. Each discovery unraveled even more thread, compounding upon itself. What was useless in the reverse alley-oop became vital practice for the timing of my movement under structures, leading to the thread the needle. And all that practice meant I could even add juggling structure combos before launching into aerial attacks for mix-ups. We're not even talking about flight, but the control. I could feel it. I was able to fly on anything from anywhere, bumping around using only Flick. The moves started to combine, mixing together. Let's make it more dangerous.
What the hell is that?
Uppercut the launch structure so they move forward as they're rising, and create a more aggressive, yet safer setup.
Immaculate.
But it wasn't enough. I needed more control. It was all connected. Across the map! My failures, my successes, my fun, it didn't matter. It was all along the same path, spinning, spiraling, moving to the center, but never quite reaching it. Always getting closer to the truth, but never finding it. Please, I need more Flick, show me yourself. And then it happened. I felt it. Specifically in my left shoulder. The sacred spiral.
Wow, I just managed to spiral around.
That's good.
By bumping a structure to your side and spinning at the same time, you can hunt your targets down from above.
That was some... Wow, you redirected like 3 times in there.
Now that we have found the sacred pattern, only unlocked by the power of Flick. Never again will Rumble be a straight line game. And, combined with the Ford Assault iterations of the Puppet Master, what originally was the worst case scenario?
Super useful.
I'm still trying to impress her. That man is a saint! Became my best case scenario.
I didn't think that would get you. There was like a trailing cube there, but with the balls and destroy it.
Oh, so fast.
How much health was that?
Half. It was a massive attack.
This is where the story takes a dark turn.
Not to spread the gospel of Flick without being asked, but I can show you
I was teaching as much as I could one-on-one.
Is there anything Flick is really useful for?
If you're going to be a world-class athlete, you need Flick.
But going one at a time was too slow.
If you start using Flick, you will get worse before you get better, because you'll probably like hurt yourself a lot. Like that.
I'd made one video to help the Rumble community. In fact, that's where the prophecy came from. And I thought I'd be content.
The first one to start is called a high dive.
What the heck?
Seeing the hunger for knowledge,
Master variant.
I gave in to temptation.
Bro, that you did it so easily.
And although I thought I'd got out unscathed,
from anywhere.
I'm so impressed by that.
This game is nuts. It blows my mind.
I was only able to believe that lie for 65 days.
Wait, are you Shoeless from YouTube?
I do have a YouTube channel, yeah.
Is it named Shoeless?
I thought you said Shiverish. Shoeless!
Dude, I watch your videos, no way!
I was trying to copy one of your moves, where it's like, you go up with a wall.
You lose. You're like popping it up with like uppercut?
And then you held the block, and then you jumped in the air with the flow stone, and you held this too, but like with the better hold thing.
Dueling Puppet Master. Yes!
Without me even knowing, Flick was spreading. Yes. Like a virus.
Did you teach me how to do that?
You gotta show me some cool moves, okay?
Yeah, I'll try.
No way. I've never seen what people were talking about until now.
Oh, he's getting it. He's getting it.
That's what you did in the video.
The Rumblers were beginning to believe.
Oh, that. Oh my god. I can't even tell it's going on half the time.
I have no idea how to deal with it because I just haven't developed a counter skill yet.
All of the things you're doing have such a high skill floor. That's a dick move.
You being able to set shit up like that, and it's just clean. I love it.
It's like watching a magician.
You can come around any structure from any angle.
Usually it's a very punishable move.
You're very good at keeping the object alive.
You're too good at that.
All of Flick's limitations now felt like a distant memory.
Oh, nice.
It's recovering up from himself.
You're definitely the best player.
You win.
Oh, you just haven't played enough people.
A memory that was due to resurface.
Yeah, dude, I got so much to learn now.
Definitely don't sleep on Flick. It's the hardest move. It takes the longest to learn. But it's...
Shoeless man, I challenge you to a duel to the death. Well, maybe not death. Anyway, I challenge you. Want to see those fancy moves of yours put to use. I hope that I too can unlock a fraction of the true power Flick holds.
I haven't had any warm-up, so we'll see how this goes.
Pretty quickly I realized this was unlike any of my other matches. His pace and movement was like nothing I'd ever seen. And even if I was pulling off my moves with perfect execution, it was just so slippery. I knew the perfect way out of every trade.
The dark.
It did buy me some time, actually.
I gotta get serious now.
You lose.
And all too quickly, I was reminded of the feeling of taking boulders to the face. I needed to get up into the air.
You know what? My only goal is to just get a hit on you and try and teach you the glory of Flick.
Of course.
But the pressure was getting to me. In my first Uzumaki, I pulled the structure too high and hit myself directly in the confidence. But that was just the start of my troubles.
Oh my gosh.
I'd get anti-air. I'd get the timing wrong.
Oh no.
Get read like a book.
He knows the setup. He knows what it looks like.
Get punished on landing. I get disappointing looks from my parents when I told them I wanted to be a VR esports professional.
Oh, no. Ah, still too risky on this map.
Oh. You almost had me there if you hadn't fallen off the map.
You lose.
When it works, it's good. Just high risk, high reward.
That is your playstyle in a nutshell.
I hate to admit it, but panic took me to ground level play. I even reverted to a shameful projectile aerial style at points. And sure, I won a few rounds, but I was missing the entire point. Even though there was no score or leaderboard, this wasn't a casual match.
I've long said that one day a Chosen One will come.
I no longer cared about winning more games than Jack.
Well played.
Thank you.
Chosen One will turn the meta on its head by truly figuring out the power of Flick.
Because this match would decide the fate of Flick.
You win.
Perhaps the Chosen One has already arrived.
Because if Flick worked on one of the best players in the world, it can work on anyone.
Did we both flick that?
And it wouldn't just be Jack and I that believed it.
Is Jack learning the way of Flick?
No, Jack has his own flick style.
Ooh. Did you see what I said to that guy Marco Polo in the Rumble Kai Discord yesterday?
What did you say?
I'm like, you need to talk to the Flick God Shoeless, but make sure you have the required 300 hours to begin your training.
Yes, good.
Looks like Jack might be the next Flick God here.
And he was right. Turns out Jack wasn't waiting around for a Flick Messiah. He had some tricks of his own. I started to doubt my place in all of this.
The Flick flail.
Until I took another boulder to the face.
Oh my gosh. It's still those boulders. You know, you made me invent my playstyle. Like, I give the credit to you from our first V-Real match, where you just annihilated me with boulders. I was like, I have to get off the ground.
This rematch? I had one thing that Jack could never have. More failure under my belt than anyone could possibly imagine. So when he pulled out his flick tech, I knew how to give him an unprofitable financial transaction.
I like it, Jack. I like it.
What? Come on.
You gotta use those tricks against me. I invented those tricks.
Yeah, I was so unlucky that you were just out of reach coming back. Just out of reach with myself.
I saw the window. I had time to think. I couldn't give up. I needed to focus. I needed to have fun. It didn't matter if he was the slipperiest player in the game. Literally sometimes slipping through the atoms of the rock.
That went through your body on my screen.
If I cleaned up my moves, then I could at least get him with the follow-up. And eventually, I knew, in theory, Flick would work.
So it even works on Jack.
Jesus Christ.
Ah!
Oh shit. He's just too strong.
I just, oh, that's his trajectory. Okay, it's gonna land there. And I'm waiting. And you're just flying around above me.
Gotta watch where you're going, Jack.
I missed the Pepper's Master.
So double wall, uppercut the first wall,
You
dash,
win.
hold, jump, flick, jump.
I get the theory, but I'm gonna need some practice before actually doing that.
Trying to do what you did to Huffwhat in the tournament show.
I tried to use it against you, but I failed.
Ooh, Jesus Christ.
So you see, if you flick something, you can spiral around.
Yeah, it looks really good. Your playstyle is perfect for making montage videos because it's just so cool moments when you first hit your combos. He's just a better player. That's what there is to it. Know that the Flame God, this guy is the best in the game.
No.
At using Flick.
At maybe.
Not for long though, if I have a say about it.
Oh, please.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna need a lot of practice.
Yes. It begins.
So did I fulfill the prophecy? That depends. If you asked me right after this match, I would have said no. But it's not really up to me to decide. I guess we'll have to see how many Rumblers take up the new skill tree with all the flick moves. Speaking of which, something Jack said in that match stuck with me.
But had that flick worked, I mean, holy shit, it was such a perfect moment.
Oh, I saw my life flash before my eyes. You tried to flick that back into me. I'm trying what you said, Jack, to grab someone else's structure. Now that's part of the meta.
Oh, and something else to clear up. If you had a keen eye, you would have seen that not every clip was my own. A curious and brave few have already taken up the challenge of the hardest skill in VR. The hardest skill, yes, but maybe not the hardest move. And it's been a few months since then, and there's a lot more tech. But to explain this move, you'd need to understand flight. Dang it, why do I need to make another whole video? This one already took so long. I swear, if I go over 30k, we're not doing this video.
The flick meta? I'm gonna be honest with you, Shoeless, I've never once used flick in a game.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, you play like that.
Yeah, at least you know. Flick is not your friend.
I've got an idea. Waterbending. Now, how do I do that?
What am I even supposed to do with flick when it's not flick related?
Oh, you foolish boy. You foolish child. I love to see this aerial flick style. I'm getting back into it.
It's pretty useless.
Follow your flick.
Oh, nice.
Good, straight up.
Wait, how are you doing that?
Like I get that works, but it's all about control, right? So
I hate that mechanic.
skill issue.
I told you I was gonna win, and I told you I was using flick. Flick is OP! GG, man, GG.
You see how low I am there? I'm not even in the comic club. I shouldn't be making videos, you shouldn't be watching them. We should all be playing Rumble. So it's not funny when you encourage me into a bad habit. What are you even doing? Go play Rumble. Or I guess you can watch a video about Rumble at least.